ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. There are no awards, presentations, or proclamations this evening. No public hearings, and we'll come to the public comments. Before that, I'd like to go through
No.
this large crowd, and a lot of you knew.
You skipped Mark.
Oh, the organizational business. I was going to have this meeting over shortly.
You know, I just told Joe I wanted to go see my mom after this meeting, so I'm good. Let's just move along.
I'm sorry. Mr. Kibbe, your city administrator's report, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As everybody knows, we are awaiting the bids for the demolition of the gun range, which is the 4100 Allen Road and the old City Hall. Those bids are due the 19th of January, and we're hoping to have them on the for award on the 26th council meeting. In the meantime, we did receive a communication packet from the real estate agent representing the owner of 4100 Allen Road. Apparently, the owner has received an offer to purchase the property from a potential buyer that would like to use it for a banquet hall. The sale would be contingent upon the city removing the property from the demolition list. And as I mentioned in my memo to you, that's on the that was at the kiosk here for you. Given the number of delays and problems that we've had with the property owner and property over the course of the last few years to the past 30 years, I would recommend that the city continue to move forth on the demolition order that we received from the court. And unless I'm directed otherwise, we'll continue on that path. I believe that's probably the more desirable path by most of the councils. I see some heads shaking in concurrence on that.
Yep.
So
Yes.
we'll continue to move forth, and we'll bring those items for your consideration for the demolition award at the next council meeting. Liquid Force will be conducting sewer rehabilitation of stormline work over the next few weeks. As soon as we get more details, we'll post those to our website and to the Facebook page. The work areas at this point in time are going to be the west side of Allen from Wick to Monroe, the east side of Roger from College to O'Connor, and the perimeter from South Monroe to Rose and from Park to Reek. Again, as soon as we get more details as to specific streets or anything like that, we'll post those to the website and to the Facebook page.
Can you go back a second?
Yep,
What was
not
it,
a problem.
street? Is it Moore or Monroe?
South of, from the perimeter area of South Moore
Moore, okay.
to
Sorry.
Rose.
To
I
Rose.
probably said Monroe, I apologize.
That's okay.
South
Thank you.
Moore, so the south side of Moore Street.
That's fine.
To Rose, and then from Park to
It's
Reek.
just, thought we had a new street. Thanks.
You know what, I did say over here on the other one, it was west side of Allen from Wick to Moore
Okay.
as well.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
And I'll make sure that's correct on the Facebook, because that's where I pulled that one from, so I'll get that corrected.
Thanks.
The department heads have received their budget information for the 2016-17 budget year, and those are due back to Bob by February 19th. I think we've already got one back, if I'm not mistaken already, two back already, so the department heads are diligently working on those as we speak. This was some information that came forth from SEMCOG that I wanted to make sure we sent out, made everybody aware of if you haven't already heard. December 16th, the legislature approved Senate Bill 571, which is a bill to amend the Campaign Finance Act. And then a couple weeks ago, Governor Steiner signed that legislation into law. One of the significant changes made by this legislation was the provision that prohibits the use of public funds for mass distribution of any information regarding a local ballot proposal within 60 days of the election. Existing law already prohibited the use of public funds in advocating for or against any ballot proposal. This additional language prohibits local governments from even describing the proposal. State officials have said they will look into this situation, so we'll have to wait the answer on this. I bring this up because that was one of the things that we were able to get that information out to the residents through the public forums that we hosted a couple times. And under the new law, those would be prohibited. Even broadcasting a item like that on the cable channel could also be construed as a violation of the law. So that could have a serious impact on how communities, not only us here in Allen Park, but all the communities throughout the state of Michigan proceed when it comes to ballot proposal languages in the future. Another one from SEMCOG was they went on the record with the Michigan House Communications and Technology committee as being opposed to House Bill 5016. This legislation would require state and local road agencies to pay for the cost of moving any utility lines related to road projects. The legislation, which could cost road agencies millions of dollars each year, shifts the cost of moving utility lines from the utility to state and local governments. Utilities are currently allowed to use public easements at no cost. However, often during times of construction, utility lines must either be temporarily or permanently relocated. Currently, this is the responsibility of the utility in question. Southeast Michigan would be hit harder than other areas of the state due to the heavy use of the road right-of-way for utility lines. There are many areas of the region where all of the utilities are buried under existing roads or lines are strung on poles located in close proximity to the edge of the road. The legislation, which was passed out of committee, is currently awaiting action for the full House of Representatives, and if enacted, much of the recently approved state road money, and I want to clarify, the state road money, is this would major effect on the state roads and not as much on the local roads, would be diverted from new pavement to utility companies. So it's another item that we really need to keep an eye on when it deals with the resurfacing or reconstruction of like an Allen Road or Southfield Road in the past. E-Course Road, if that was to be reconstructed in that form, Pelham Road, Goddard, any of those roads. And then just finally, the reminder that City Hall is now open on Friday, and also the Parks and Recreation Office is no longer closed during lunch, and that was effective this past week. I think that is everything I've got.
Motion to accept and file the updates, reports, documents, submissions.
Motion.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem McLeod.
Support.
Supported by Councilman Rourke. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. Well, they can come up now. We mentioned the 4100 Allen Road property. Are any of the owners or the prospective purchasers here in the room tonight? They're not in chambers? I'd ask the clerk just to show that the property owners at 41 Allen Road are not here tonight, nor are the prospective purchasers. Thank you. City of Allen Park rules of decorum for public meetings. An individual may only speak on an issue after the individual has been recognized by the chairperson. Comments from the floor shall be made at the podium at the front of the council table or such other area as designated by the chairperson. Prior to an individual speaking from the floor, the individual shall identify themselves and state their street address for the record. Individuals shall also identify if they are representing any group or organization. All comments shall be directed only to chairperson. Speakers are not to address other members of the council or members of the audience. Each member of the public may speak for up to 4 minutes. All written statements should be given to the city clerk prior to the meeting so that copies may be made available to the members of the public body. No individual shall be allowed to make any defamatory attack or invasion of another individual's personal life. There shall be no questions, comments, discussions, or attacks regarding anybody's personal life. The chairperson shall immediately rule out of order any person who begins to bring up such issues. If the chairperson does not do so, any member of the council may, by calling for a point of order, request the chairperson to rule the offending party out of order. If the chairperson does not so rule the offending party out of order, any council member may call for an appeal of the decision by vote of the council. If the chairperson's decision is overturned, the offending person shall be deemed as being out of order. If the person making the comments is allowed to continue, the person who is being challenged or whom the comments are made against shall be entitled to make an immediate rebuttal statement. For purposes of these rules, as they relate to elected officials or city officials, the term personal life shall refer to anything other than that which is said or done in the person's official capacity as an elected official or in the person's official city capacity. Members of the public body may question the speakers, but the members of the public body are not obligated to answer any questions or make any statements on the issue raised or discussed by the speaker. issues may be referred to the appropriate body, department, or individual for investigation and review. No person or group shall be allowed to disrupt the meetings or proceedings. Any individual who fails to comply with these rules, after having first been warned by the chairperson to cease such actions, shall be ordered by the chairperson to leave and/or be ejected from the meeting. Any person, well, the last one. With that, any citizens that wish to come forward and address the council, please come forward.
Hello.
Your name?
My name is Ben Burkhart, and I live at 7211 Larmy.
Could you repeat that, please?
Sure, my name is Ben Burkhart. I live at 7211 Larmy Avenue. I am representing a charity, Homes for Gnomes.
Homes for who?
Gnomes.
Okay.
I've been in the city, I've been a homeowner here for 3 years. I've been in the city for 5. I think it's a good place to live. But it's come to my attention that the city has a budget to take down dead and dying trees, which they do. But there's not currently a budget to plant trees. That pretty much falls to the homeowners if they would like to do so. I'm a tree enthusiast and an amateur environmentalist. I planted, in 2014, I planted 1 tree for my neighbor. I liked the way that it made me feel. Felt good. 2015, I planted 12 in cooperation with Matt Doring at DPS and Pat Harker, I think his name is, Hawkins, with Parks and Recreation. It was successful. I planted a total of 5 in parks, community parks, and Gingham Dog Park, and then the rest for my friends and neighbors. I'm not really asking for anything at this point. Excuse me, I've formed this charity, Homes for Gnomes. Currently, it's a nonprofit corporation. I haven't filed the paperwork yet to become a tax-exempt charity, but I will do so shortly, and I expect to be approved by the end of this year. I don't really need anything from you at this point. I'm not asking for money. I'm just kind of here to say, hello, here we are, and hopefully we'll see each other again and plant some trees together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have some literature if it's appropriate.
Well, if you just hand it to the clerk.
No. Several copies there. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Happy New Year. Ray McGusson Quant. Got a couple of things. It's really nice to see all these young adults behind us coming to these meetings. But boy, they must be giving something away. I was at the last RTAB meeting, and even though during the comments, citizen comments only, where the RTAB doesn't really ever answer you, they always give you an opportunity to ask the questions at the end of the meeting to the individuals once the meeting is ended, and they do open up and they do give us some information. At that RTAB meeting, I did ask about going ahead and having the RTAB reinitiating our commissions that were taken away from us by some orders from Joyce Parker. And during that time, they did not answer. But when I asked at the end of the meeting, RTAB chair told me very simply this, that they are reactive commissions, is what they are. The RTAB reacts to whatever the city asks for. So they said very simply to me, have the city ask to have those commissions reinstated. And they'll vote either yes or no. The last meeting I asked that, and I was more or less told that I was out of order, that that's not really a place to do it. That it's an order. Well, orders from you, our city council, a number of times have asked for certain things, and they have granted you that, which I think is a great thing. So I'd like to see you guys either put it on a workshop meeting or whatever, and see if you get those commissions reinstated. They can either tell you no or yes. Another thing is, on that piece of property, even though I am a big supporter of having it knocked down, and I asked to have that thing knocked down a number of years ago, if someone would really like to go ahead and use it and get it back on the tax rolls, I'm for it. But I'd like to see them bond it. Put some money up for it and says, hey, if they go ahead and they allow it to continue on where it's doing, then they just lose their bond, whatever legally way you can do that. One more thing, and I'd like to have an answer on this, is this. If we are opening up our office to the general public to use on a Friday, is it costing us any more money?
You want to go ahead?
Yeah. The way that the structure was for the closed on Fridays is the staff was still here on Fridays. They were just closed to the public. It was more of a catch-up day. And so by opening up, there is no other cost. It was not a furlough day that they were taking a reduction of pay or anything on that.
Thank you very much, Mark, because I knew that, but you know what? Facebook is real bad, and they were really putting out some nasty, nasty things around there. And I guess some of us who know it and try to give that information out, the only way for us to get that information out is when coming up to this meeting and asking you guys, point blank. That way it's not hearsay. Or Facebook doesn't come back at us and says, you don't have a clue what you're talking about. So I want to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to come up here and speak. But before I leave, did you guys, the general public, did you just go ahead and check your medicine cabinets for those prescription drugs that are just too old to use? Do it again. You might save a life. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
See no one coming forward, we'll go to the consent agenda, and we will take the claims and accounts which have been removed from that item. I have a motion to approve claims and accounts.
Motion?
Motion by Councilman Templin,
Supported, Mayor.
supported by Councilman DiGiulio. Councilman DiGiulio, I think you probably have the questions, so why don't we take you first here?
Okay, on page 1 here, under administration, there's it says Whitehall Group LLC, professional services, week ending 12/31, $4,400. How often are we going to pay that, or is that the end of it, or what is it?
Yeah, through the chair, if I may.
Yes.
That item there is the comprehensive overview that the council awarded back in, I believe, September of 2015. They are working on that project as we speak, and I think they're very close to wrapping up at this point in time.
So how many times have we paid them $4,400?
You know what, it varies, because the one above that actually is theirs as well. That was $10,519. I'll have to get it where the total is, but they should be coming close to the end of their total contract.
Okay, thank you. And on page 2, under City Hall, we have rent, $19,974. And I know we pay $16,500 a month. And also here it shows $1,683 for cleaning and services and supplies for City Hall, and that's almost $1,700. These are going to be monthly fees, this much or more?
Yeah, you two different items there. The $19,974.66 is the rent for City Hall. That includes the base rent, which is actually $16,262. And then there is a common area billing, so the common area is the parking lots, the lobby out that leads to the city hall area. So we pay a portion of that. They list here also insurance recoveries and also a portion of the real estate tax.
Is there an amount you think that we average per month on this stuff?
That's probably close to it there. Sometimes I've seen it up to about 22, 23 as well, depending on how the utilities come in for the common area.
Okay, and,
And then the other one was for cleaning services, and that is a monthly. They're actually at, their monthly total is roughly around $1,400 a month. And then they had the 283 was for the cleaning supplies that they leave here for the city to, for the use at the city hall.
and then the next one is on page 2 also, it's for the police department. It's $4,585. We're paying to Wayne County for prisoner housing, so that's on top of Dearborn?
Correct. So this is the fee that for the Wayne County, if there's a misdemeanor or, not a misdemeanor, a felony sentence to Wayne County, then they're being held there at that facility. And being held is a relative term, because in some cases, whether they're there for 20 minutes or they're there for 23 hours, that is a day according to Wayne County. And in some cases, those people were walking in the one door and out the other after being they have their paperwork done.
Thank you there, Mr. Kibbe.
Any other discussion by council? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. The remainder of the consent agenda, purchasing action, the payroll report, finance actions, finance overview for December 2015, budget to actual report, balance sheet for December 2015, cash flow for December 2015, and then licenses and permits, a bottle and can drive permit for Boy Scout Troop 1061 to pass out flyers, February 6, 2016, and then pick up bottles and cans on February 13th, $2 fee being charged. Curbside pickup, Mr. Condrit, Homo Grogan, a $50 fee, and it's a renewal, and curbside fee number 2, R&M Recycling, $50 fee, and that's a renewal. And those are the items under the consent agenda, and if I could have a motion for that, I would appreciate it.
Motion.
Support.
Motion by Councilman Rourke, supported by Councilwoman Gavrecki. Is there any discussion?
One quick question, I guess, for Mike. With the renewals, for those, the 2 pickups, do we still do a police check with them?
Absolutely. I just put that on there generally so you guys know exactly, hey, especially these 2, they've been doing it now for about 5 years. And one thing, Councilman Templin had a question about, are these good people? And I brought up the fact that we talk to them when they come and get their permits about if they see illegal people doing it, because they pay the $50. They'll call the police, and there's been a couple cases where they've called the police on suspicious people. So they've kind of become our eyes and ears out there so they've turned out to be a real positive effect on the community. And we don't have to, hey, they pay us to take our garbage, God bless them.
Any other questions? I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. Thank you. We're down to resolutions. The first one is to set a public hearing on Tuesday, January 26th at 6 p.m. for the Community Development Block Plan Project Year 2016. Do I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Councilwoman Gavrecki is
Supported,
moved,
Mayor.
supported by Councilman DiGiulio.
Through the chair, if I can the mover and supporter amendment also include for February 9th, 2016? That was in the memo.
Oh. Is that permissible to you?
Absolutely.
And then for,
Where are you changing it?
On the bottom of the memo,
Oh, okay, got it.
just to, it'd be February 9th as well. We have to have 2 public hearings per the block grant rules.
Thank you.
that being acceptable to the moving party and the seconding party. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. The Next matter is the purchase through the state of Michigan Deal Program 2, 2016 F-250 4X4 pickup trucks for approximately $65,805, and there'll be, I guess, trade-ins with funds to be taken out of the water capital outlay. Could I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem McLeod,
Support.
supported by Councilman Templin. Is there any discussion or questions?
Question,
Yep. Councilman
as
Rourke.
far as the dollar amount, is that, do we have, I know that fund we were talking about, the water fund was kind of 200-some thousand. Are we stable with that for this? Sorry.
I see the,
You could have come up this way.
I see our chief financial officer taking a walk about the room here. He'll be here in a
And one of
moment.
the other items there, I know Bob's gonna mention too, was the budget amendments, the RTAB finally approved, was
Okay.
required for this to occur.
Those two pickup trucks are in the 15-16 budget and are part of the capital project
Okay, so
plan.
they're
So
good.
they are budgeted items.
Okay.
Mr. Katie,
Yes.
Councilman?
I see that's going to be a cab and a half, correct? The one is?
I believe they're with the state bid, and I believe they are the,
It said 3,300 extras approximately, it's going to be for a cab.
yeah, I
Are we
don't know if Terry's here or not and can answer that or not, what kind of trucks they are, but I just made sure the money was in the budget.
What was the
Hello.
question?
They're going to be cabs and a half, both of them, or just one?
Both of them.
Okay, and are they replacing cab and a half vehicles too?
No, the one pickup is replacing our water department service van, which is actually a van. We are converting over to a pickup with an insert so we can roll the truck over into the fleet after a couple of years when it gets a lot of miles on it. The other one is replacing the service truck for the mechanics, which is it's got a lift on the back, and that's a 1999, so.
Do we know what we're getting for a trade-in on them yet, Mr. Kerr?
No, we don't.
No, okay. Thank you very much.
If there are no other questions, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next item is to adopt a 2016 council meeting schedule. If I could have a motion, please.
Through the chair, yeah, we'll
Yes.
go with the motion.
Support.
Councilman Rourke, supported by Councilwoman Gavarecki, and the clerk seems quite excited, so we'll go right to him.
Well, I would like to point out, through the chair, I'd like to point out that there are two meetings that we have marked tentative on your sheet, and one is the March 8th presidential primary, and the other is the November 8th presidential election. And my office, there's no way we could do a meeting on those days. As you might have seen on my email, I recommended, what we've done in the past is pushing them up a week to the 15th. And here it's super easy because both are on the 8th and a week later would be the 15th. This is not set in stone. You can still change it if you feel like you want to. So if we pick a date now and say there's nothing on the agenda or we could switch it to another date. So, but I would recommend the 15th for now on both meetings. But again, it's up to you. You guys are the mayor and council.
You heard the clerk's recommendation with the people moving and seconding. Want to make those changes to the 15th of both those,
I'm okay with that, yes.
okay?
Okay.
Is there any other discussion by council? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried, thank you.
Thank you, mayor and council.
The final piece of business is the first and second reading for a motion to authorize a change to the pension board, and the reading will be by title only. Could I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Gavarecki, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem McLeod. And I'll ask the city attorney to read the title to the proposed ordinance.
Okay, would council entertain some, little bit of discussion with
Mark and I talked about this earlier, and maybe we could give you a little background on this before I read this.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. So, if I may, through the chair, the purpose of the change, this is, actually comes out of the, trying to resolve a number of grievances that are over at the fire department. And we've resolved 4 of the 5 grievances, this being the 5th one. And it involves the pension board. Currently, the fire department has a non-voting member on that pension board, and they had requested a voting member. And now, there was some question of in the contract whether that was approved or not approved. So a grievance was filed in an effort just to try to resolve that. God bless you. We've moved forth with this proposal, which would require the mayor and council support as well as RTAP support to make it, because it'll require an emergency manager's order change if that's how the state wants to proceed in that aspect, or just let it go through. That's up to them. But again, currently there's 5 voting members. We have through the ordinance itself, it's the finance director, which has actually been replaced. I've actually replaced Bob as the administrator through an emergency manager's order. There's also a retiree, which is voted upon by the board members themselves. There's a citizen at large, which is until her term is up, and then the finance director is named through an emergency manager's order as well to replace her. There's a police officer, which is currently the police chief, and there's a general employee member from representing the TPOAM group and the court workers that are still eligible for the defined benefit program. Under the proposed ordinance change, there would be the finance director, there'd be the retiree member, there'd be 2 citizens, a representative of the police officer group, a representative of the firefighter group, and then a representative from the general employees member group and/or the court, but only 1. And so they would, at that point, if it was still a member of the general employees group or the TPOAM group, the non-voting member would still remain at the court. Did I thoroughly confuse everybody on that?
I'll try and simplify it. The fire department, which has had a member at the meetings but non-voting, will now become a voting member. We've increased the board to 7, and the council will get 2 members to the board instead of its current 1. And then we will be changing to have the chief financial officer go on there, replacing the order that the emergency manager had put in place, where she had the city administrator, and I think before her it was the emergency manager was on there.
Correct.
So that's really the changes, but for our purposes, the fire department getting a voting member and the council getting 1 additional member.
There was it doesn't make a lot of sense when you're looking at a voting group to have just 1 member added on there. It would have been 6, you would have been potential for ties. So that was where the need was necessitated for an additional citizen member. And then having the finance director going on, I think, is the absolute best idea that could be had here.
Question, Mayor?
Councilman DiGiulio.
Will the council have any input in picking the 2 citizens, or is that strictly going to be you and then just approved by the council?
That's right. They are my appointments,
They're going to be your appointments.
with the approval of the council. I think the last person the council approved there was the vice president at Comerica Bank, which is our banker, and she serves on there as the 1 appointee, Ms. Adamation. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify, whoops. I guess you got to read the title, huh?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Mayor, that's fine. That was the motion to authorize the first, second reading. So go ahead with the vote, and then I'll read it.
Oh, all right. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that's carried, and now we will have the reading.
Proposed ordinance 01-2016. An An ordinance of City of Allen Park Code of Ordinances amending Chapter 2, Administration, Article 4, Employee Benefits, Division 2, Employee Retirement System, Subdivision 2, Board of Trustees, Section 2-232, establish composition duties to modify the composition of the Board of Trustees to consist of 7 voting members, including an additional citizen member and a firefighter member. I'll now do the second reading of proposed ordinance 01-2016. An ordinance of the City of Allen Park Code of Ordinances amending Chapter 2, Administration, Article 4, Employee Benefits, Division 2, Employees Retirement System, Subdivision 2, Board of Trustees, Section 2-232, established composition duties to modify the composition of the Board of Trustees to consist of 7 voting members, including an additional citizen member and a firefighter's member.
Thank you. Okay, really, according to what's printed, we're at the end of our agenda, but I'm going to add item 2 without objection, councilperson comments. So if anyone would like to comment, we'll be closing the meeting, but we'll take council comments. Sure. Councilman Templin.
I don't know if Mr. Burkhardt is here or not, but I'd like to thank him. It sounds like a very nice endeavor that he's doing for the city. And also, the other comment about discussions on Facebook that are wrong and stuff, I would encourage anybody that's on Facebook, take the time to email one of us on council or somebody from the city to get the correct information if possible, instead of just having a debate on Facebook about what's right or wrong. Thank you. And thank you, students, for coming. There's sure an awful lot of you today. Is it end of semester or new semester?
And
So just remember that, council, they're all students sitting out there, they can't vote. Councilwoman Gavrecki.
thank you. To the administrator, just as as verification, we are having a work session next week, Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Regarding central dispatch at 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
Okay, I don't think that was mentioned earlier, so.
Yeah, there'll be a couple other items on there. I think there was a couple questions that came in on various topics. Nothing major that will require us to be there for 3 hours and 45 minutes again, but.
Okay, all right, thank you. Secondly, thank you, all the students out here. I guess it is end of the card marking, but I don't know how many of you were out at the hockey game on Friday night, but you guys had the place rocking. Unfortunately, it ended up in a tie. We didn't win, but it wasn't a loss, so good job, guys. Keep it up. And I had the time over the holiday to walk into our library and check out a book again for. And I noticed the new desk and stuff that were there, where the employees checked out the books and stuff. So it looked great, and I just wanted to say, I commented on it, and they were all very, very happy that they had new desks and stuff there. So it looked good. So.
Yes, if I may, she's been making a lot of nice improvements over there, and I
Yep.
think she's got a couple more planned as well.
That's good.
And
No, so.
I don't want to take anybody's thunder on the hockey game, but I know Pat said that was one of the biggest crowds that he can recall at the ice arena in a number of years, at least during his time, but even he's a aficionado of hockey games, and he said that was one of the best crowds he's ever seen.
It was. I went to the Cabrini game the night after, and it was a lot colder in the rink, so I think there was a lot of less bodies, but it was, the student section was really rocking over there, so good job, guys. Thanks.
Councilperson.
The last meeting of last year, Maureen had made a comment, we were talking about taxes and about the school taxes, and I've had a number of people approach me saying, what's this going on? We're going to be collecting one time a year. Can we ask somebody from the school board to come, not to our work session, possibly the next council meeting, to just explain why they're doing it? Obviously, it's saving them money, but there's questions out there and people, seniors that have to budget their money and now paying in July, things like that. I'd appreciate it.
Okay, we can't ask, but they do have public meetings too, sir.
Well, I know.
Councilman DiGiulio.
Well, first of all, I gotta thank Maureen for the nice Christmas card she sent me about the 4th of December. It asked for about $1,600, and I gave it to you, so I'm really appreciative of the Christmas card and the Christmas greeting. And also, I want to say that, Matt Doring, Bob Cady, Mark Kibbe, Terry Kern, our city attorney, they're always there for us when we call. I mean, they even answer the phone themselves, and that was something I wasn't used to in the years past. So, and also, it's really great to see all you students here, otherwise we'd have an empty room tonight. So, and when I was in high school, we didn't do that, we didn't come over here. If we did, nobody told me about it, and I never showed up. Okay, thank you and good night.
Councilwoman McLeod.
Just for some clarification with regarding the taxes, the comment that Kevin made, the only thing that's rolling over is the school taxes, which is going to bump up the summer taxes, but there's still going to be two tax payments. One is your winter tax bill, which is going to decrease, but of course the summer one's going to bump up. And maybe that's something we can even talk about at our work session as to what might be done about that. With regard to the Facebook comments, I was getting ready to post on there, and I still might, clarification regarding the Friday. But I think that having someone come up who, he did know the answer, but knows that it's going to get far more coverage being at a council meeting and possibly on the YouTube recording, more citizens will be apprised of the fact that, no, it's not costing any extra money to have the offices open on Friday. And it's very nice to see such a nice full house, and hope to see more of you here. And thank you all for coming out, especially on a night like tonight, and have a very good evening.
Treasurer Armstrong. Clerk Busy.
Yeah, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Burkhart for coming in and planting trees. I've been here with the city of Allen Park half my life, fortunately or unfortunately, but several times early on in when I was working here in the mid-'90s and early 2000s, we were designated as a Tree City USA, meaning we had so many trees. I forgot the criteria, but as I drive up and down the streets, you notice more and more that these 50-year-old trees are just getting too big, and it's almost. And the emerald ash borer did some damage also. Like where I grew up, there's almost no trees because they replaced them all with ash. We need something like this. I've talked to so many citizens that moved into Allen Park because they love the tree-lined streets. And each year that goes by, I kind of notice that our tree-lined streets are getting a little less and less. So I just, any type of planting a tree, it's just a really positive thing. And I just ask any of the young high school kids in here, that guy's, he's worth his weight in gold. People look at trees and they laugh. I'm not the biggest environmentalist or a tree hugger, so to say, but it is aesthetically nice. You drive down Reek Road and it's gorgeous in the fall. So I just wanted to point that out. Sorry, my sinuses are bad. But with that, I'd like to end and just thank you all for coming out. God bless you and good night.
All right. I too want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. It's nice to see so many of the government students here, and hope you enjoyed, which will be our record short meeting tonight, if I don't talk too long. But I will take a motion to adjourn with that.
Motion. Supported.
Moved by Councilman Templin, supported by Councilman DeGiulio. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned at 7:49.
6:49.
6:49, excuse me.